My parents wanted me to give my master bedroom to my 25-year-old sister for her mental health. So I sold my house and bought a one-bedroom condo. Hi everyone! Today's story will blow your mind, but really quick, if you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. Channel's been a bit quiet lately, and your support keeps it all going. Let's jump in. Original post. I never thought I'd be writing one of these posts, but here I am at 2 a.m., unable to sleep in what might be my master bedroom for much longer if my family gets their way. I'm Michael, 30M, and I own a 4-bedroom house in a decent suburb about 40 minutes from the city. I bought it 3 years ago when the market dipped slightly, using savings from living frugally throughout my 20s and working 2 jobs. The mortgage isn't small, but I manage it comfortably with my current salary as a software engineer. My younger sister Ashley, 25F, has been struggling with what she calls severe anxiety and depression for the past 2 years. I put that in quotes not because I don't believe mental health issues are real, they absolutely are, but because Ashley has refused any professional help, medication, or therapy. Instead, she's convinced herself that her problems stem from her toxic living environment. Here's where it gets complicated. Ashley lives with our parents, James, 58M, and Patricia, 56F, in their 3-bedroom ranch house. She has her own room, decorated exactly how she wants it, pays no rent, and has no job. Our parents cook for her, clean for her, and basically enable her to do nothing but complain about how her life is ruined by her small, suffocating room. 2 weeks ago, my parents invited me to dinner, their treat at my favorite steakhouse, which should have been my first red flag. After we ordered, they launched into what was clearly a rehearsed presentation about Ashley's mental health crisis. According to them, her therapist, who doesn't exist, remember, suggested that a change of environment could be transformative for her recovery. They'd been thinking, and wouldn't it be wonderful if Ashley could stay in my master bedroom for a few months? Just temporarily, my mother assured me, cutting her salmon with surgical precision. You have 3 other bedrooms. The one overlooking the backyard is lovely. I nearly choked on my ribeye. You want me to give up my master bedroom in my own house? My father jumped in with his logical voice, the one he used when he thought he was being reasonable. Michael, you're hardly ever home anyway with your work schedule. Ashley needs this. She needs natural light, an ensuite bathroom for her anxiety baths, and space to practice her meditation. She has all of that at your house, I pointed out. No, she doesn't, my mother said firmly. Her room faces north. No morning sunlight. The bathroom is down the hall, which triggers her anxiety at night. And your house has better energy. She felt it immediately when she visited last month. That visit had been suspicious too. Ashley had spent an unusual amount of time exploring my house, even taking photos for inspiration. Now I understood why. The answer is no, I said simply. The dinner went downhill from there. My mother cried, actually cried, in the restaurant, saying I was choosing square footage over my sister's mental health. My father accused me of being selfish with my excessive house that I didn't need. They left before dessert, sticking me with the entire check, which felt intentionally symbolic. Since then, I've received 47 text messages from my mother about family loyalty, 12 missed calls from my father, a 3-page email from Ashley detailing how my master bedroom could save her life, multiple Facebook posts from my mother about the importance of supporting family through mental health struggles, clearly directed at me, surprise visits from 3 different relatives who just happened to be in the neighborhood and wanted to talk about Ashley. The pressure has been relentless. My Aunt Linda called me crying, saying she was worried Ashley might do something drastic if she doesn't get help soon. When I suggested actual therapy, Linda said I was missing the point. Here's what really bothers me. Ashley hasn't always been like this. She graduated college with a degree in marketing, had a decent job at a PR firm, and lived in her own apartment until 2 years ago. Then she had a bad breakup, quit her job, moved back home, and has been spiraling into this enabled helplessness ever since. Every suggestion of getting back on her feet is met with accusations that we don't understand her mental health needs. I've been more than supportive. I've offered to pay for therapy, refused. I've sent her job listings, ignored. I've even offered to help her get her own apartment with first month's rent and security deposit, triggered a panic attack, apparently. But giving up my master bedroom in my own house? That's where I draw the line. The thing is, I know this won't be temporary. Once Ashley moves into my master bedroom, she'll never leave. My parents will guilt me about kicking out someone with mental health issues. She'll probably redecorate, claim the space is essential for her well-being, and I'll be the villain if I ever want my own bedroom back. So I've made a decision that might seem extreme, but I'm done being manipulated. I'm going to sell my house and buy a 1-bedroom condo. No guest rooms. No extra space. Nothing they can guilt me into giving up. I've already contacted a realtor and started looking at properties closer to my office. I know they'll explode when they find out, but I'm exhausted. I work 50 to 60 hours a week to afford my home, and I'll be damned if I'm going to be guilted into becoming Ashley's landlord and caretaker because my parents won't stop enabling her. Am I being too extreme? Part of me feels guilty for the nuclear option, but I don't see any other way to establish boundaries with people who clearly don't respect them. Update 1, 2 weeks later. I didn't expect my original post to get so much attention. Thank you to everyone who validated that I wasn't crazy for refusing to give up my master bedroom. Your comments gave me the courage to follow through with my plan, and boy, has it been a week. After my post, I immediately started working with my realtor, Jennifer. She's been fantastic, efficient, discreet, and completely understanding when I explained I needed to move quickly. We found a perfect one-bedroom condo in a high-rise downtown, walking distance from my office. It's modern, secure, and most importantly, has exactly 0 extra rooms. The building has strict policies about overnight guests, no more than 3 consecutive nights per month, and the HOA doesn't allow subletting. It's a fortress against family manipulation. I put my house on the market last Monday. Jennifer suggested pricing it competitively for a quick sale, and I agreed. Within 48 hours, I had 3 offers, all above asking price. I accepted an all-cash offer from a young couple expecting their first child. They could close in 2 weeks. I wasn't planning to tell my family until everything was finalized, but Ashley has apparently been driving by my house regularly to visualize her healing space, and she saw the sold sign go up Thursday morning. The explosion was immediate and spectacular. My phone started ringing at 7:23 a.m. First Ashley, then my mother, then my father, then Ashley again. I was in a meeting and couldn't answer, which apparently made things worse. By the time I checked my phone at lunch, I had a 73 missed calls, a 149 text messages, a 16 voicemails. I didn't know my phone could hold that many. A multiple Facebook messages from relatives I haven't spoken to in years. My mother's first voicemail was confused. Michael, there's some mistake. There's a sold sign at your house. Call me immediately. By the 5th voicemail, she was screaming, "How could you do this to your sister? How could you do this to us?" Ashley's messages evolved from confusion to bargaining to pure rage. Is this a joke? We can work something out. I'll only stay weekends. You're literally destroying my mental health. I hope you're happy knowing you've killed me. You're a monster. I'm going to the hospital because of you. She didn't go to the hospital. She posted on Instagram from a coffee shop an hour later. My father left one voicemail, his voice cold and controlled. I'm disappointed in you, Michael. We need to talk about this man to man. Call me back. I didn't call anyone back. Instead, I texted a group message to my parents and Ashley. I've decided to downsize to a more manageable living situation closer to work. The house sale is final. I'll be moving to a one-bedroom condo downtown next week. I hope you can be happy for this positive change in my life. The response was immediate. My mother called again, crying so hard I could barely understand her. But I caught key phrases: betrayed your family, selfish monster, can't believe I raised you, and killing your sister. Then came the ambush. I arrived home from work to find my parents' car in my driveway, along with my Aunt Linda's SUV and another car I didn't recognize. They were all on my porch. My parents, Ashley, Aunt Linda, and my cousin Karen, who's a social worker and was apparently there to provide professional perspective. We're not leaving until we talk this through like a family, my father announced. I stayed in my car and called the police non-emergency line, explaining that I had unwanted visitors refusing to leave my property. I didn't want to escalate, but I needed documentation in case this got worse. While waiting for the police, I watched the show on my porch. Ashley was saw performing, occasionally wailing loud enough that neighbors came out to watch. My mother alternated between comforting Ashley and glaring at my car with pure maternal fury. Karen kept trying to approach my car with what I assume was her professional mediation face. I kept my doors locked and windows up. When the police arrived, my family was forced to explain why they were trespassing on my property. The officers were professional but clear. They needed to leave immediately. My mother tried to explain the family emergency, but the older officer just said, "Ma'am, this is a civil matter. You need to leave the property now." As they left, Ashley screamed across the lawn, "I'll never forgive you for this. You've ruined my life." My father added, "You're no son of mine." That was Thursday. Since then, I've had to block 14 relatives on social media after they posted various versions of how I'm letting my mentally ill sister suffer for my own greed. Someone, I suspect Ashley, posted my realtor's information in a family Facebook group, encouraging people to call and share their concerns about the sale. Jennifer had to threaten legal action to stop the harassment. My mother has started a campaign of sending me childhood photos of Ashley and me with captions like, "Remember when you loved your sister?" and "What happened to the boy I raised?" The most ridiculous development. Ashley posted a GoFundMe titled, "Help me secure safe housing for mental health recovery." She's raised $230, mostly from relatives. The goal? $50,000 for a healing space down payment. In the description, she mentions how her brother abandoned her in her time of need by selling the family home. It was never a family home. I bought it myself, with my own money, and my name is the only one on the deed. I'm moving into my new condo in 6 days. The movers are scheduled, the papers are signed, and I've already changed my mailing address. I've also scheduled an appointment with a therapist for myself, because even though I know I'm doing the right thing, the guilt tripping has been intense. Part of me wonders if I'll lose my entire family over this. But then I remember that they were willing to sacrifice my peace, my space, and my autonomy for Ashley's untreated mental health issues. They never once considered my feelings or my rights as a homeowner. It was always about Ashley's needs, never about my boundaries. I'll update again once I'm settled in my new place. For now, I'm pushing through the guilt and remembering that I'm not responsible for Ashley's mental health, especially when she refuses actual help. Update 2, 1 month after moving. I've been in my new condo for a month now, and I wanted to give you all an update on how things have developed. Spoiler alert, selling my house was the best decision I could have made. First, let me describe my new living situation because it's relevant to everything that's happened. My condo is on the 14th floor of a secure building with a doorman, key fob access, and security cameras everywhere. The building has a strict guest policy that requires all visitors to be registered 24 hours in advance. The walls are concrete, so no noise from neighbors. I have a beautiful view of the city, a modern kitchen, and most importantly, absolute control over who enters my space. The first week after moving was relatively quiet. I think my family was still in shock. Then Ashley apparently had what my mother called a severe mental health crisis that landed her in the hospital. I only found out through my cousin Karen's husband, Brian, who still talks to me despite family pressure. Here's what actually happened. Ashley had a panic attack when she realized I was serious about the condo and there was no plan B for her to get a bigger bedroom. She hyperventilated, my parents called an ambulance, and she was taken to the ER. The ER doctor, after running tests and finding nothing physically wrong, recommended, wait for it, psychiatric evaluation and therapy. Ashley refused and left AMA against medical advice. But here's where things get interesting. The hospital visit triggered something with my parents' insurance, and they received a letter stating that future ER visits for non-emergency mental health issues might not be covered without proof of ongoing psychiatric treatment. Suddenly, my parents weren't so resistant to the idea of Ashley seeing a therapist. Ashley fought it hard. According to Brian, she screamed that therapy was for broken people, and she just needed environmental healing. But when my parents threatened to start charging her rent, finally, she miraculously agreed to see someone. 2 weeks into therapy, her therapist apparently had some very direct conversations with my parents about enabling behaviors. I don't know the details, but Brian said the therapist met with James and Patricia separately and essentially told them they were hurting Ashley by not requiring her to take responsibility for her life. The changes have been swift. 1. Ashley now has to apply for at least 5 jobs per week or lose her phone plan. 2. She has to attend therapy twice a week, parents are paying, but still. 3. She has to do household chores. 4. No more breakfast in bed or having mom do her laundry. Ashley is furious, but she's complying. She even had a job interview last week at a digital marketing firm. She didn't get it, but the fact that she showed up is progress. Meanwhile, I've been living my best life. My commute is now a 10-minute walk. I'm saving money on gas, utilities are cheaper, and I don't have to maintain a yard. I joined the building's gym, made friends with some neighbors, and I'm actually dating someone, Sarah from the 11th floor, who I met in the coffee shop downstairs. But the real test came last weekend. My mother called from an unknown number, I'd blocked her regular one, with a sob story. Aunt Linda was in town and desperately wanted to see me. Could they just stop by for a few minutes? They were already downtown, just 10 minutes away. Sure, I said. I'll meet you at the coffee shop on 3rd Street in 20 minutes. Can't we come to your place? Linda wants to see your new home. The coffee shop or nothing, Mom. They came to the coffee shop. My mother, father, Aunt Linda, and, surprise, Ashley was there too, looking sullen in the corner. The ambush was obvious, but they couldn't do anything in a public place. "We miss you," my mother started. "This has gone too far. Can't we just be a family again?" I laid out my terms clearly. I'm happy to have a relationship with all of you, but it will be on my terms. No surprise visits. No guilt trips. No requests for money, housing, or anything else. Ashley is getting help, which is great, but her mental health is not my responsibility. If you can respect those boundaries, we can work on rebuilding our relationship. Ashley finally spoke up. "Dr. Reynolds says I need to apologize to you." It was the most insincere apology I've ever heard, but at least she said the words, "I'm sorry for trying to take your bedroom and for the things I said." "Thank you for apologizing," I replied, not offering forgiveness yet. That would take time and genuine change. The meeting ended awkwardly but peacefully. My father even shook my hand and said he understood why I did what I did, though my mother looked like she wanted to argue with him. Since then, I've had a few text exchanges with my parents. Nothing deep, just checking in. Ashley hasn't contacted me directly, which is probably for the best. Brian tells me she's actually making progress in therapy, starting to understand how her refusal to take responsibility was making her anxiety worse, not better. The extended family is still divided. Some think I'm heartless, others have reached out privately to say they wish they had my courage to set boundaries. The GoFundMe disappeared after raising only $385, which Ashley apparently used to buy a new laptop for job hunting. Final update, 2 months later. This will be my last update because I believe this chapter of the story has reached its conclusion. It's been 2 months since my previous update, and the changes have been remarkable. Ashley got a job. Yes, you read that correctly. She's working as a junior social media coordinator at a non-profit. It doesn't pay much, but it's full-time with benefits, including mental health coverage. According to my father, we talk about once a week now, she takes the bus to work every day and hasn't missed a shift yet. The transformation didn't happen overnight. Her therapist, Dr. Reynolds, apparently specializes in failure-to-launch cases and has been working intensively with both Ashley and my parents. Brian shared that there was a particularly brutal family session where Dr. Reynolds told my parents that by trying to protect Ashley from all discomfort, they were actually preventing her from developing the coping skills she needed to manage her anxiety. My mother didn't speak to anyone for 3 days after that session, but something must have clicked because she started implementing changes immediately. She stopped doing Ashley's laundry, stopped bringing her meals to her room, and stopped answering her texts during work hours. Ashley predictably had what she called a mental health emergency about 2 weeks into the new regime. My parents held firm and told her to use the coping strategies from therapy or go to the ER if it was truly an emergency. She chose neither and somehow survived having to make her own dinner. The job came about through her therapist's requirement that she volunteer somewhere to build routine and references. Ashley started volunteering at an animal shelter's social media team, and they liked her work enough to recommend her for the non-profit position. It's been 6 weeks now, and while she complains about the early mornings and the commute, she's doing it. Last week, something extraordinary happened. Ashley texted me directly, not to ask for something or to guilt-trip me, but to share that she'd gotten her first paycheck and wanted to take me to lunch to properly apologize. We met at a neutral restaurant downtown. Ashley looked different, tired but healthier somehow. She'd lost the perpetual victim expression that had become her default. "I've been really angry at you," she started, which wasn't the beginning I expected. Like, furiously angry. "Dr. Reynolds made me write letters to you that I never sent, just to get the feelings out." "Okay," I said, unsure where this was going. "But last week, I was talking to my coworker about apartment hunting. I'm saving to move out by spring, and I told her the story about your house. I expected her to agree that you were selfish, but she just stared at me and said, 'Your brother owned a house and you tried to take his bedroom? And you're mad at him.' The way she said it, Michael, I heard how insane it sounded for the first time." She continued, "I've been so wrapped up in my own pain that I couldn't see what I was doing to everyone else, especially you. Dr. Reynolds calls it therapeutic narcissism, when someone becomes so focused on their mental health that they use it as an excuse to hurt others." The apology that followed was real this time. She acknowledged specific things: trying to steal my bedroom, turning the family against me, the emotional manipulation, the social media smear campaign. She even admitted that she had been planning to move into my house permanently and had already picked out furniture for her room online. "The funny thing is," she said, stirring her soup, "losing your house was the best thing that could have happened to me. If you'd given in, I'd probably still be in that bedroom, making everyone miserable and going nowhere." I finally offered genuine forgiveness, and we spent the rest of lunch talking like we used to years ago. She showed me the studio apartments she's considering, all small but manageable on her salary with a roommate. She's even thinking about getting a cat once she's settled. My relationship with my parents has also improved steadily. My mother apologized last month, really apologized, not the guilt trip kind. She admitted that she'd been so afraid of Ashley's pain that she'd been willing to sacrifice my happiness to avoid it. She's been seeing her own therapist to work through her enabling behaviors and anxiety about Ashley's mental health. My father and I have actually grown closer through this. He admitted he knew the bedroom request was ridiculous but felt trapped between my mother's fears and Ashley's threats. He's been working on his own boundaries and recently told Ashley she needed to start contributing to household expenses or move out by May. She chose to accelerate her apartment hunting. The extended family has mostly come around. Aunt Linda apologized for her role in the ambush, admitting she got caught up in the drama. A few relatives still think I was too harsh, but they're the same ones who enable their own adult children, so I'm not too concerned about their opinions. As for me, life in the condo has been fantastic. Sarah and I are officially together now, and she's been incredibly supportive through all the family drama. She comes from a family with strong boundaries, and her perspective has been invaluable. We're planning a vacation to Costa Rica next month, something I never could have afforded with my old mortgage and maintenance costs. The condo itself has been perfect. The building's amenities mean I'm actually socializing more than I did in my house. I've joined the building's book club, use the gym daily, and have become friends with several neighbors. The forced downsizing also made me realize how much stuff I didn't need. I'm living more minimally and feeling freer for it. Looking back, selling my house wasn't really about Ashley or the bedroom. It was about finally establishing that my life belongs to me. I'm not responsible for managing other people's emotions or sacrificing my peace for their comfort. That lesson was worth more than any house. Dr. Reynolds apparently uses my story, anonymously, as an example in family therapy sessions now. According to Ashley, he calls it, "When helping becomes hurting," showing how one person's firm boundaries forced an entire family system to change for the better. Ashley sent me a text yesterday with a photo of a lease application. "Fingers crossed," she wrote. "If I get this place, I'm buying you dinner at that expensive steakhouse to celebrate." I replied, "Proud of you." And I meant it. She's not perfect, she still has bad days, still struggles with anxiety, still occasionally slips into victim mode, but she's trying. She's working, she's in therapy, she's taking medication, and she's planning a future that doesn't involve taking over someone else's bedroom. My parents are planning to downsize themselves once Ashley moves out. They're looking at 2-bedroom condos near the beach, talking about retirement and travel. My mother even jokes now about how they should have done this years ago instead of maintaining a big house for their adult children. The family Christmas this year will be different. We're meeting at a restaurant instead of anyone's home, neutral ground with a defined start and end time. Ashley suggested it, actually, saying it would be less pressure for everyone. Dr. Reynolds would probably be proud. I know some of you might have expected a more dramatic ending, Ashley homeless, parents disowned, family in complete ruins. But real life is messier and more complex than that. People can change, but only when they're forced to, and only when enabling systems are disrupted. Would I do it all again? Absolutely. Selling my house and buying that 1-bedroom condo was the best decision I ever made. It forced everyone, including me, to grow up and face reality. My boundary wasn't just about a bedroom, it was about demanding respect for my autonomy and refusing to be manipulated by guilt. To anyone facing similar situations, you're not responsible for other people's mental health, especially when they refuse real help. You're not obligated to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is say no and hold that line, no matter how much guilt comes your way. The house with 4 bedrooms represented my old life, one where I had space for everyone else's needs but somehow never enough room for my own boundaries. The 1-bedroom condo represents my new life, compact, efficient, and completely mine. I drove by my old house last week out of curiosity. The new owners have painted it a cheerful yellow and added a swing set in the backyard. There are toys on the lawn and chalk drawings on the driveway. It's now what it was always meant to be, a family home for an actual family, not a potential halfway house for an enabled adult sibling. Ashley starts her new apartment lease next month. My parents are listing their house in spring. I'm planning to propose to Sarah on our Costa Rica trip. Life moves forward, and sometimes the best thing you can do is make the hard decision that forces everyone else to move forward too. Thank you to everyone who supported me through this journey. Your comments and messages kept me sane when I thought I was the crazy one. I'm closing this chapter now, secure in my 1-bedroom fortress, surrounded by people who respect my boundaries and love me enough to not ask me to sacrifice my peace for their comfort. Sometimes the nuclear option is the only option that leads to peace.